We have yet more model reveals for the cities of Sigmar, and I have to admit at this point, it's getting increasingly difficult to resist the pull of this faction. Before we get into things proper, we have a few new members to say hello to when it comes to the old YouTube side of things. So welcome to Hatman Rich, Kurisu Fenris Wolf, The Plebiscide, Where's Addy, Wizard Badger 2072, and Kyle Dyer. If you like what I do here and you want to support me in ways other than just watching videos, which is absolutely fine, by the way, and greatly appreciated, you can do so via YouTube members or on Patreon, where you get early access to stuff, and we are ramping up some interesting, special, delightful things for members in the coming weeks. Now on to those new cities of Sigmar. Free Guild Fusil-Majors is what we're showing off. I absolutely love these. I genuinely want them. I want them more than anything else they've shown off for the cities of Sigmar, and I'm trying to work out why. I'm hoping that perhaps we can discover the reason for that together, because right now it's just an illogical gimme it. I have to admit, I do like the start of this article, talking about going out and seeing the world, seeing the realms, meeting new and interesting people, and then immediately clarifying that the Dawnbringer Crusades are absolutely awful and full of death, despair, and ruin. I like that a lot. That's quite fun. The important bit, though, is that the cities of Sigmar are packing some serious firepower to slay the vile enemies of order, or at least keep them at a comfortable distance. So the implication there being, don't always work, and I like that clarification, to be honest. And here are the ones doing the shooting, the Free Guild Fusil-Majors, and I love these. I absolutely love them. They've got the shields that I really like, with that kind of almost like Baroque metalwork over the top, which is totally superfluous, just adds weight, and yet it looks fantastic, so I like that. I really like the shape of these shields as well, the way they're kind of like branched out at the top and at the bottom. The fact that they're not full length took me a moment to get used to, and it did make me feel like they've got the chains down there, right? They've got the legs to put these shields on because the guns come out of the middle of them, so basically Age of Sigmar breaches, but I'm all for it. I did have a moment where I was like, I think I'd prefer them if they were full length shields, but actually that's really grown on me. I can't really explain why, because you could say objectively that they're just not as good as being like shields that go all the way down to the ground. But you know what? I don't really care about that, to be honest. The chains hanging down the bottom, I quite like. It almost looks like it's just designed to catch stuff, like things that are going down towards the legs or maybe ricocheting back. It's as though it's there to kind of protect against that. Whether that's the actual thinking behind it, I don't know, but that's kind of immediately what my brain went to. I don't know, I like the shields a lot. And since so many of you corrected me on carpentry, the shape of the shields, I'm absolutely fine with. Although I would still like a little bit of just metal banding or something. Just something to tie it together. I kind of feel like I want more metal work partway down the shield. Maybe not right at the bottom, but just something to bring in that really kind of ornamental section at the top. The Fusil-Sergeant, I believe it's called, has an even better shield. The fact that there is a big lamppost on it, not a lamppost, it's just, well, I guess like a lantern on a stick. Isn't that technically what a lamppost is, sort of? And then what looks like some sort of thing on the other side, like more decoration, combined with a triple-barreled gun. Loving that. So extra, so over the top, totally unnecessary. I'm in. The guns are looking distinctly low-tech though, which I'm a little bit surprised by, because I'm pretty sure Free Guild gunners that we had before had like more kind of sophisticated like rifles than this. But then again, kind of aesthetic-wise, I do quite like it. Also the fact you have these like small cannons that are attached to what look like lengths of metal, so it's almost like you've got the bayonet on the front as well, so it's almost like a fire if they're at a certain distance, and then just run the gun out because it has massive reach. Like the kind of handle on it is so long. It's basically a spear but also a gun, or a gun but also a spear. I like that quite a lot, to be honest. The armour looks great, as pretty much all of the Cities of Sigmar armour has done so far. Like, I like the kind of lengthy sort of coats they've got over the top. The detail with the belts and stuff, it being kind of wrapped around and put through in a knot. I really like that. The helmets look really cool. Also, the guy having the full-on big, like, match for lighting. It's not a match. I'd imagine it's a torch. But it looks kind of like a match from this angle. There's just something about these that are really, really tickling my fancy. They do look very extra, right? They do look quite fantasy, but also the guns themselves kind of add an extra... just add a sort of extra element to it. And I think for me, just the idea of having, like, 20 or 30 of these in a big long line, like a dedicated front. I love that, like a bulwark of guns that can also defend themselves in close combat due to the bayonets, the length of the handle on them. I don't know, there's just something about it. It's something about the design that is really, really pleasing to the eye. And when you see like a whole bunch of them lined up, it's just going to look fantastic. A nice little touch that you can see from certain angles as well is that kind of supporting strut. Now, I'd be really interested to see if that's something that folds down. Like, if you look at the model from the back, or like you angle it the right way, is that something that levers up when they are moving the shields around, and then when they come to place them on the ground, they can like release it, it comes down, it acts as a supporting brace for when they're firing the gun and to keep the shield in place, like for like ease of aiming and the like. I really hope that's the case. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because it seems like a very sensible way to do things. Also, a little side note, that little fish dragon thing down there, I believe that's out of the Soulbound RPG. You can have pets in that, and I think that's one of the pets from it, which is a nice little nod. I like that a lot. I really like the fact that they've incorporated the like big standard, the banner, like along into the shield. Like, that's a really nice touch. That's a really fun touch. And there's no point having them hold it separately. It has a distinct holder. If you're already holding the shield, if it's already supported in place, and if it's already braced using that bit of wood coming out the back and the two legs on the front, why wouldn't you attach the banner to it? That's such a cool idea. I really like that. Obviously, it's going to make the shield even more heavy and cumbersome to move around, but who cares? It looks fantastic, and surely that's the most important thing. Also, really loving the kind of relatively even mix of men and women in this squad. Fantastic. Great. I mean, they don't care. They don't care what you look like or what you are, as long as you've got the ability to hold one of these things and vaguely shoot in the direction of the enemy. You're in. Let's go. It's the Dawnbringer Crusades. All are welcome to die in the name of Sigmar. Funnily enough, not that dissimilar to the Imperial Guard. Although if we start to see Imperial Guard with shields and las rifles, then I'm going to start having questions there, right? Although I'd also really like to see that. So would the question just be, when can we buy them? It might just be that. But yeah, I'm loving these. Absolutely loving them. They look fantastic. They match the aesthetic of everything else. It's a really fun idea for a squad. It looks great. I just really want to see a big mass of them in a big long line. I mean, these forming like a kind of like a wall at the back with like a line of cavalry, and you've got it would be so good. It looks so good on the tabletop. It looks so good on the tabletop. The only thing is, I would argue these are going to take a little while to paint. To do them really nicely, they're going to take a little bit of time. You've got a bit of exposed skin, you've got quite a bit of cloth, you've got quite a bit of wood, quite a bit of metal, but then again, it'd be totally worth it to have a big mass of them. I love the fact the sergeant can have 2 guns, 2 pistols, that you've got those kind of extra dips in the top of the shield so that you can have them resting over the top of it. Oh my god, so good. So good. Like, the triple barrel cannon is hilarious, and I do like it. But I mean, the dual wield, if you've got the option for dual wield, you've got to go dual wield. What else are you supposed to do? And that picture right there, that just sums it up for me. That just sums up the whole thing. A massive group of these in formation, standing there with shields and guns ready. That's the stuff right there. That's the stuff. And I'm really hoping that this Black Powder Squire is going to be in the box. I'd be surprised if it's not, given that they've like explicitly mentioned it, or whether it might be like some sort of Forge World thing. I would really hope that is in the box as well, because that's a really fun, cool miniature. Just adds a bit of flavour to a cool mechanic. It's awesome. They are definitely ticking all the boxes for me so far, Cities of Sigmar. They just look fantastic. The armour style is really cool. Just the overall aesthetic is really fun. And the fact that we now have these shield gunners, these Fusiliers, it just makes me so happy. So happy. I mean, what I really want is a big long line of these with steam tanks that just form like a horrible, impenetrable wall of metal, wood and guns. That's what I'm really after. Basically, I'm after what I would do with an Imperial Guard army if I wasn't only going tanks for that idea. So yeah, I'm starting to think I have a particular slant these days. It's either horrific abominations that make no sense to the human eye, or it's tanks and guns, or tanks with guns, or tanks that are ancient with guns, or people with guns next to tanks. I think that's probably where I'm at now, just as a collector of stuff, which is maybe getting a little bit boring and formulaic, but I don't really care when the option is to have a bunch of these Fusiliers, because that's what I want now. I need them, and I would like them, please. The question is, what do you think of this lot? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things: Patreon, video, subscribe, YouTube members, check that out. There's, as always, an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I'll leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.